Mario Kart World has the craziest shortcuts of the entire series, and you're here to see them to tilt your friends to another dimension. Each course is marked in the timeline below. Let's start off with the first course of the entire game, Mario Bros. Circuit. Taking the left path is optimal if you have a mushroom, but either way, you should make it over to the right rails eventually and move back over to the left. Make sure you do tricks along the way to maintain your speed. It's important that we take the path on the right, taking the glider and landing on the railings to do tricks across to the finish line. Crown City has an insane shroomless trick that comes on lap 3 by jumping up this wall and riding this railing, doing a left trick to this palm tree followed by another to avoid the grass. I recommend starting a jump right when you start passing this blue building. There are also 3 basic mushroom shortcuts, the first on lap 1 and also 2 more chained together on lap 3 before the shroomless shortcut. Pathing left is huge for this course so that we can spam tricks on all of the rails. We then come across another crazy shroomless trick by jumping between these rocks. Near the end, taking the right path is actually more beneficial and we can set up another shortcut with a mushroom. And making sure to stick left to follow the path in the first lap. DK Spaceport comes swinging with 2 early shroomless shortcuts. For the first, drift left, barely avoiding this tower and tricking to maintain height. The second avoids this lengthy ramp and is much easier, but still important to trick across. And there are of course a few corners to cut with mushrooms along the path if you happen to have them. Moving to the Flower Cup, we have Desert Hills. It is honestly the most boring shortcut wise, as there is only this single mushroom skip. At least the course is pretty. Shy Guy Bazaar, on the other hand, is peak Mario Kart. The right path is so good that going through off-road is even worth it. By jumping over to the ropes and tricking along the way, this path is significantly faster and also safer from the chaos. On this ramp, go left to the railing and trick across to save some precious time. This path is the best spot for a mushroom, but either way, go to the right side to grab this railing to repeat the first skip. Wario Stadium has another cool 2 shroomless paths. The first being where we wall jump near these 2 ramps. The second is done by taking this left ramp up this wall and riding this railing across. The best spot for a mushroom on this map is the corner right before the end. Airship Fortress lives to the hype of my childhood with the wildest and longest rail sliding section in the entire game. Avoiding the bonsai bill entirely and jumping across to the other railing. Slide your way onto the ship, sticking to the inside railings, and repeat this on every lap. There is also this much less cool mushroom skip near the end. DK Pass provides this terrifying mushroomless shortcut. You do not need to charge a jump, but simply trick off both the ledge and the pole if you're willing to take that risk. If you do end up getting a mushroom, I recommend using it here near the end. Starview Peak has one of the better mushroom shortcuts that feel flashy and save time by going through this snow and tricking right to the railing. Sadly, there isn't much left to do here besides optimal tight drifting. Sky High Sundae is definitely a treat. The best path is just full of constant flips from railing to railing, which is eventually met with a mushroom skip followed by some more insane tricks. The real crazy skip comes at the end where you ride this whole wall. It is so terrifying to dip this low, but it is well worth it if you pull it off. Wario's Galleon has this really cool mushroom shortcut that just plummets you into the water. But near the end is this really awesome rail riding section on some ship masts that eventually just lead you into a shroomless shortcut again. Making sure you land on the railing up ahead gives you some extra speed into the next lap. Koopa Poopa Beach is honestly just not even worth talking about. It is by far my least favorite map, and all you have is a little bit of a corner you can cut with a mushroom. Faraway Oasis has a fun section halfway through where you have to jump across the railings and a sign to gain speed, which is then followed by another railing so that you can jump across to a hanging platform. Peach's Stadium is really only interesting if you have a mushroom after riding the railings on the right to get through the grass. Unless you want to pull off these dangerous tricks near the edge for an incredibly small advantage. Peach Beach has some of the worst map design as you just hold straight through some open water sections for half the time. However, there are 3 mushroom skips that are worth mentioning, each on their own respective lap, with 2 of them being hidden behind some boxes. Salty Speedway is somewhat interesting, with some optimizing at the beginning to jump over this ledge, with an additional mushroom skip near the end having you fly through some boxes, and building a max turbocharge. Dino Jungle impressed me, as you should ride up the spine of this dinosaur and shortly after mushroom through this long patch of grass. This map is adaptive and changes throughout, so there will need to be some fine-tuning across this dinosaur and dodging others across your path. Some of the most impressive shortcuts happen on Great Block Ruins. The first requires mushrooms to go through these boxes, tricking off the grass onto the railing, falling on the one down below, correcting your path. And if you thought that was impressive, watch this one. The craziest shroomless shortcut has to be this one. You have to charge a jump onto the ring and then the wall and all the way back onto the course. Cheep Falls is another lackluster one, following up an absolute banger, with just this mushroom shortcut halfway through. Dandelion Depths follows in suit with the same problem, with only one at the end of the course this time. And the same with Boo Cinema, as much as I love the course. But thankfully, Dry Bones Burnout has something, with some cool wall tricks at the start and at the end from the top ramps, which is followed by a pretty cool mushroom shortcut. Moo Moo Meadows, thankfully, also has a good mushroom shortcut, where you charge a jump followed by a mushroom when landing to shave off a whole few seconds. Even though I love the following 2 courses, they just don't offer much shortcut-wise, besides 1 mushroom shortcuts for Choco Mountain and Toad's Factory. But oh boy, Bowser's Castle does not disappoint with this shroomless shortcut. Do you think you'll have the audacity to pull this off online? Acorn Heights focuses back on the rail riding, at both the beginning section and later near the end, switching between multiple stems back and forth. But don't let that distract you from this huge mushroom shortcut that shaves off a wide corner of the map. Mario Circuit impressed me for what it is, with 3 whole shroomless shortcuts, if you count the first one. But both the second shroomless shortcut and the third are much more flashy and way more impactful, but require good timing on charged jumps. This course only has 2 mushroom shortcuts, with the first requiring 2 mushrooms and the last only requiring 1. And now for the grand finale, Rainbow Road. Probably my favorite one of all time regarding how it looks with the stained glass and changing scenery. But let's focus on the shortcuts. The first mushroom shortcut goes crazy with multiple required tricks and flips, while the second has a crucial hop to make it to the ramp successfully. And the third one, we don't have to talk about. If you found this video to be useful, please consider subscribing and liking as it helps so much.